What's up, nerds? Brandon here.
With Jimmy.
And we're taking another trip down memory lane with an X-Men movie review. In the watch order, we are finally at X-Men First Class.
The good news is, no matter what our opinion is, there is no way to go up. Nowhere to go but up.
Nowhere to go but up.
Because, holy crap,
Wolverine Origins Wolverine was a tough rewatch. And it's funny because you ended X3 with basically decimating the team. How do we move forward? You try this movie with Wolverine. It misses the mark entirely. So they kind of backtrack and they're like, all right, we'll do the same thing said in the past, but we'll do the team rather than the individual.
And this is where it began, where they're like, we're going to basically tackle a decade per movie.
Yeah.
And the other thing...
Well, that was the idea going into this, that there would be a decade per movie.
True. But then the other thing we talked about was after X3, the ad wizards at Fox were like, you know what? Okay, the team is dead. We get it. We're going to focus on individuals. Who are two of our most popular individuals? Wolverine and Magneto.
Yeah.
Well, let's start with Wolverine because he's our favorite. It's cool. Awesome. That movie was so bad.
They reworked.
So bad. They killed off the Magneto.
Which bums me out because in this movie, every Magneto scene, like if you're telling me we would have had a movie where a young Magneto is just hunting Nazis like across the world, well, I'd still watch that right now. And you like that scene at the bar when he walks in there.
So awesome.
Oh my God. And it's just like I could have had 2 hours of that.
Yep.
And we just threw it away.
Well, I will say though, when this first came out, and it was basically to all of us, it was a reboot. Like we're resetting the X-Men because
we were going to build up to the X1 eventually. I thought that was the idea.
I didn't think of that because all the actors were different. We're like a clean slate. And I know we're set in the 60s, but clean slate. So the awesomeness of Sir Patrick and Sir Ian, gone.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh man, like those were the epitome of Xavier Magneto. What are we going to do? I was floored, even the first time I saw it, with McAvoy and Fassbender being like, oh my God, like this is awesome. They're amazing.
Like the X-Men from the get-go has been plagued with great casting choices and just terrible movies. And it's just like Hugh Jackman. Fassbender is such a perfect Magneto. And we're never going to get that again.
When they recreated that opening scene that shows us Eric's history, and it was like, oh, dude, they're just oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. And then it carries on to show us.
This we're saying, like this whole thing. I was like,
Kevin Bacon. And he's like, brings him in with his mom, and he's like, do it. 1, 2, 3. And then he rages and anything metal in that room.
Why did you not just kill him right then and there? I would have.
That is a good point. But then he rages. But we learn later why. But rages, everything metal, the helmets on the soldiers, and Bacon is like, yay!
It's like we did it.
What is wrong with you, dude?
Oh my God. But
it was so emotional, so awesome. And I will say, rewatching this, I enjoyed it far more than the first time I saw it when it was released.
Yes. What I was going to say, like my summary of it was going to be that it's a better rewatch, but it still just misses the mark. It's just the fact that we've taken the core members and they kind of shot themselves in the foot too, because there were a lot of characters you saw that didn't have starring roles, but like Colossus, a couple other mutants throughout that movie that you're thinking, oh, well, maybe we can use them back then, but they've already been used now. Yeah. And this is when things go off the rails, because I'm fairly certain this takes place before Wolverine Origins.
Oh yeah.
And we have Emma Frost.
Yeah.
And then Wolverine Origins, which takes place before, has Emma Frost. She's credited as Emma. She has the same diamond powers.
Well, that's again why I thought this was a reboot.
Yeah.
Because we have other things where like Havoc. Havoc is the younger brother of Scott Summers. But wait a minute. He's in this as the older brother.
And like, okay, you used Banshee, you used Havoc, but bottom of the barrel digs here. You're grabbing Angel, who is Zoe Kravitz's character.
I hate it. Yep.
She in the comics, I'm pretty sure if that's the one I'm thinking it is, it's a Grant Morrison creation from his X-Men run, where it was Beak and Angel. Beak was this dude who just looked like a chicken. Yeah,
stupid. Yeah.
Well, no, I mean it was
No,
good
it's
for the
stupid.
story.
No, it's not stupid.
It was a weird grab.
He's a
for the
Morlock.
movie.
I don't need a comic book about.
Well, that's what I mean. That and then it's
what's
like
going to be a Morlock?
you had Darwin, you had all, and it just felt like this vast catalog. There weren't other like B-list teammates you could have pulled out for the. I mean, there's hundreds of.
And we talked about this. Same with X3. It's like, why are you picking some of the dumbest mutants alive to be in this movie? And I get it. Banshee is actually okay in the comic books.
Yeah.
Siren is okay in the comic books. Live action, it just doesn't work as well.
Well, because you have to hear. I mean, even if you remember the original cartoon, the episode Banshee's in, he's like, "All right, goodbye," and he's like, "Oh!" It's like, why? That's your power. Uncomfortable.
It's like that kind of looks.
Well, not only like I said, better to read it because you don't have to hear it. and when you watch it, he's just going,
Angel. It's like,
well, I mean, she's such a. I mean, she's never been a. She was really important in Morrison's run.
I don't care.
And it's not like she did anything else, though.
If you had her and Jubilee fighting naked in a book, I'm still not buying it because it's stupid. They're stupid. Stupid.
I hate you feel for her. But either way,
stupid.
What I was saying is,
she's a beautiful woman too, and then spitting loogies, fireball loogies. I'm like, couldn't get any more dumb.
I don't know.
Thank God she became Catwoman, by the way. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, right. Excellent. She's great in that. But I mean, it just felt even with the Mystique thing, because watching it, I was under the impression the first time I watched it that I was under the impression that this was like something that would take place before the movies we saw. And I'm like, man, you just kind of picked Mystique because she was there, but all of a sudden you gave her this super important role that had a relationship with Beast, Charles, and Magneto. And then it almost takes away in X3 when she loses her powers, and he's just like, "You're normal now." Like all this history you're building and showing, and he's just like, "Get fucked." Like it made it worse. I don't know.
Which is an ironic tie-in to the new X-Men animated '97 when, spoiler alert, Storm loses her powers, and it's nothing like that. Like,
no, everyone's like, "No, stay with us. We'll help you." Like,
forget you.
Stop leaving.
Sorry, Aurora, you are not important to us anymore.
It's just I don't know. So. I mean, that and the choice of villains, it just felt like they were like, who can we use to get people? But it's like, I don't know.
But that's the one thing I like. I like the concept that, you know what? We're going to use Kevin Bacon, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And we're going to have Emma Frost. Okay. Like the concept.
Like
I
you
like
start setting up the Hellfire Club, which is cool.
Yeah, and that was a great idea. Azazel. Okay, cool. Who else was I can't remember who else was on the team.
Oh, it's like Cyclone guy. God, he just makes tornadoes. I don't even remember.
Yeah. And it was like, okay, you got to have, it's not Toad. Okay, we're still better than Toad. Cool. But then when you actually play these out and you're like, Sebastian, you're cool. Emma Frost is being underutilized. Like you go to Diamond Form, whatever. Like the funniest part was when she was manipulating the Russian dude. Make it out, and I'm like, that's kind of funny.
Some of that stuff was like I said, it was close.
Yeah,
it just didn't hit the mark, and like I said, it's like seeing Hugh Jackman in any of these.
Yeah.
Great actor, really owning the role with McAvoy and Fassbender, but just overall, just still not.
Now, it did produce one of my favorite memes of all time.
Okay. Oh, the
Perfection.
Yeah, that one is.
Like I forgot that it came from that, and then it happens. I'm like, oh.
But that's what I mean too. It was like just these. You were putting more into the relationship than was ever shown in the original movies, and I think that was part of it too. Of like Jennifer Lawrence was on that upswing when these were getting made, so they were like, we need to give her a bigger role. So I just would have picked anyone besides Mystique, because also to be honest, like young Mystique with that makeup looks worse than adult Mystique.
Yes, she was, but that's kind of the point, freaky deaky, in that. She's not going to be accepted as that form. But I don't know what their original plan was. I like the relationship she built with Xavier, and then the relationship she gets with Magneto, in that it's like, no, be who you are.
Yeah.
And then it plays through basically the rest of the franchise. I did appreciate that. And I think that was really the only character that could go back and forth, being good, bad, sort of what's your role in this? I enjoyed that. And then Jennifer Lawrence is an amazing actress, so she was the perfect person to do that. No, she,
like I said, outstanding job.
And then we got Matthew Vaughn, finally, because he was supposed to do X3,
Yeah.
And whatever nefarious things happened there, whatever. So we finally got him, and it was funny to watch that now that he's made a slew of other movies and to see his touch in that.
And
you're like,
slowly
oh,
turn
okay,
into,
that was interesting. You see his gimmicks and his music choices and his editing, and like, okay, that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
I really did appreciate the final showdown with the Russians, the Americans, and the mutants. I thought that was an interesting
Once
dynamic.
again, though, that was Magneto being Magneto, and it's like, just give me that movie.
And
like,
I like how they explain in this how Charles becomes wheelchair bound.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was an interesting twist, and it was Magneto's fault, but not Magneto's fault.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to take responsibility, but literally it was his fault.
Yeah.
I thought that was a cool dynamic that then I know your opinion, but we'll get to that. Days of Future Past leads to Charles deciding whether he wanted to be in a wheelchair or not. And that sort of thing. I think we're on the uptick. I mean, it's not hard to say after Wolverine and X3.
Well,
so
I mean, even if the peak is Days of Future Past, because we'll talk about Apocalypse and Phoenix when we get to that.
You're not gonna like me.
Oh God!
I mean, you already don't
like
do
this. I don't want to do this. Okay, well, I don't know. So yeah, that was this one. Like I said, I felt like we were getting there, but it just still wasn't.
Now remind me, I'd already forgotten because I'd forgotten there were stingers in all of these, and I'd already forgot what was the stinger at the end of First Class. I forgot already. You too, huh?
I don't know that I watched it all the way to the stinger.
Because after rewatching them, they made way more sense than the first time.
Well, there was one where they like tease Essex, and then that never gets brought up again. But I don't think it was this one.
No, because they do that near the end of the last two movies, where you're like the Essex Corp, and I don't remember the other one. And there was the funny inclusion of Wolverine in this one, where they go to the bar to recruit him. He's like, "Fuck off."
Right, I'm just like, cool. All right, yeah.
But they're distancing themselves from a Wolverine-centric movie for now.
But you still put him in there, which just makes people go, "Give me Wolverine." Also, like the fact that like they sat down and really worked everyone else, like they lock the cab that Darwin's in, they're driving to be like, "We're gonna talk." They have a separate room with Zoe Kravitz. They walk in, he says, "Fuck off," and they just go, "Okay." Like, no.
Well, I mean,
try to convince the man to do something.
Of the three, Wolverine is definitely more intimidating than Darwin.
I guess. All right.
Girl with
I don't
weird moth.
But that's the other thing too, is
wings.
like they were contacted, and then X1 comes around, and it's like nobody has any fucking idea who this guy is. And it was like, how do you not remember trying to find this guy?
That is something else that I enjoy, is we see these characters that are like uber powerful, and I know this is like the first time mutants have been in history, whatever. But then the next movie, they list all the ones that died.
Oh my God!
And
experiments,
like, so they weren't that powerful.
Well, that's another one. That's another one that makes me laugh, because it's like, here he is. By the time the first X-Men movie comes out, he's like, "Look at my school. Look at all my students. Look at how great this is." And it's like, can you talk to us about the 70s? He's like, "I don't want to talk about the 70s. I lost like everyone who was in the school died." It's like, "Cyclops, my first student." He's like, "You sure?" "Yep, this is number one. No one before this."
No. Wait, there's Havoc.
No. That's not. That's just a.
And that's where I thought.
Yeah, don't they show like his fucked up chest piece or something? Yeah. Show that he was murdered. I was just like, Jesus, everyone got killed.
But that's the funny part, is that
you have no business teaching these kids how to fight.
That's why I thought it was a reboot, because it makes no sense.
Yeah.
It did make sense when you look at the entirety, and then obviously when we get Days of Future Past, I thought it was a reset.
Anywho, it gets, the continuity gets worse, and you'll be here for the next couple videos as I explain why this is my least favorite franchise to exist.
And just remember, Brandon hates it.